Hey there, it's Trisha with Easy E-mini Trade, and I just want to do a quick video showing you how you can take breakout and breakdown trades. And I'm going to do a webinar on Thursday, July 2nd at 4 p.m. And I'm going to go over all this information that's here, breakout and breakdown trades, divergence off of support and resistance, and using a buy and sell stops for your entry. So if you're interested, go to easyeMinitrade.com and click on the link at the top of that page for upcoming webinar, and you can find all the information right there. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so I've got the three instruments up here. I've got ES over here, YM, NQ, and then I've got 5-minute and 1 minutes down below here. Then on my other monitor, I have a 15-minute chart and a 60-minute chart. So to do breakouts and breakdowns, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for big bottoming tails or topping tails off a larger chart. Nothing smaller than a 5-minute, but I'm looking at a 5-minute or a 15 or even a 30 or 60. And what I want to see is, let's find one here. Okay, I had this one marked from this morning right here at under 82. And you can see I've got this big bottoming tail here. And what I want to see is I want to see the majority of the candle, the body of the candle, pushed up to the upper third for the bottoming tail, or pushed down to the lower third for a topping tail. And the reason that I'm looking for that is I'm looking for areas where likely are the spot where if buyers step up again at this 82 area to buy once again, where are they likely going to have put their stops? They're going to put their stops under this 82 area. So in theory, when price breaks this area, as long as you've got some momentum, then this is likely to trigger a bunch of sell stops. And what you're going to find in a breakdown or breakout is that you'll get a quick flush through, and then very often it will whip right back to that same area you entered. So you want to kind of be prepared ahead of time where those areas are likely to be that you could use as targets based on support or resistance. So you can see I've got one marked here on the NQ 5-minute, and then I've got one here at the low of the day. I tend to pass on the ones at the lower high of the day unless there's a lot of momentum going in that direction, because typically at the lower high of the day entering in there, you might get a new low and then it will quickly retrace, or a new high and it'll quickly retrace. Like you could even see here on the 5-minute as NQ is giving you new highs for the day, new high, pulls back, new high, pull back, new high, pull back. So the concern is that we don't get the follow through that we'd like to get up in that area. So what I do is I mark those areas where I might be interested, and I have it show up on all my charts, the areas that I've got marked as the breakdown. And these are the round numbers that you see marked in red, so just ignore those. And so what I would want to do is we actually just had a decent breakdown area right here on the 5-minute. I'll show you, there's a yakking, but you can see this bottoming tail, and it turned into a doji, but the majority of the candle, you can see the open and close up around that 96 spot, which turned into a doji. But I could mark this. I'll just kind of show you what I look for since this one just happened. So I'll mark that, and like I said, I will have it so it shows up on all my charts. So then I can flip over to a chart where I've got volume. And if you've got volume already marked on your 5-minute or whatever chart you're looking at, then no worries. So I've got this area marked at 88 right here. And then I would flip over to my 1-minute and just kind of look at that area of 88 and get an idea of what the volume looked like below that. So let's say that I was taking a breakdown and this is what it looked like. Really high, thick volume area with those big wide volume nodes sticking out. I'd pass on it because realistically this is going to be a really difficult area to get through because of all the volume accumulated at these different price levels here on the way down. So if I was looking at this as a breakdown, I would put a sell order in a couple ticks under 88 and then just basically have some idea of where support is likely to be. And so I can look to the left on the 1 minute, or I got the 5 minute already here. So if I look over to the left on the 5 minute, I can see this area here, right around 71. And then I can see this little area right here around 79, 75. So in looking over to the left, in taking that trade at under 88, I would look at this 79 area as a target area, and then I would look down. If it can keep going, then I would look down to the next area. If you use your 90 EMA or your 200 EMA, you can use those as target areas as well. If you use a range chart or a 1 minute chart, and you have an easier time spotting price support resistance areas on the smaller chart, you can still enter off any chart because the price entry is going to be the same. So let's say under 88. And so if I look to the left, so I'm just going to mark this area so we can look to the left and just kind of see if I had kept up with marking this, where I would likely look at. I would realistically look at this spot here, looking to the left, because you can see all this consolidation. And then if it gets through there, you can just kind of use the swing areas where price last reacted. And so whatever chart you can see it on, that's the chart that you find most beneficial. Just use it. And then if you are using a volume profile, and let's say that you were taking a breakdown into this high volume area like this we were just talking about right here, that could be your target area, right? So once price breaches it, so here is our setup right here under this candle. And once price breaches that area that we have marked as a possible breakdown, anticipating some stops getting hit, then it's no longer valid for another breakdown opportunity. So once it breaks through, it triggers on this big red candle, and now you would get rid of it. And now you'd have to look for the next opportunity. And you'll see here on the way up, if it happens to gain some momentum here before the market closes, you can see that we've got these topping tails up here from earlier, and they both look pretty decent. On this green one or the red one, I really don't want to see much tail sticking out the opposite side here. So I can go ahead and I'll mark above these two candles here. So I'm going to use above, I'll use the higher one. So I'll use above this candle here. So that would be above 26. Then I've got one even here as well, above 32.25. So I'm going to just make it so I can look at it on my chart that I've got the volume profile on, and we can just kind of see what's above us there. If it's a highly congested area, then we likely want to be a little bit more cautious about what we can use as targets. Now, you can always obviously take a regular setup of any kind that you're trading as well. So let's say you were already long as price was trading into this area of that 25.75 area, then that might give you reason to try to hold on to that to get through, till price could get through that, because you might get a quick flush through that spot. So let's look at it on the 1 minute in that area up there. So if price breaks out above that spot, I do have fairly light volume up there. I might get stuck in this little area right here where I got this little volume node sticking out around 28.25, or just up a little bit further up by that pivot point. So realistically, you could see those areas here on the 1 minute chart where I might have some difficulty. So that would be, a possible target if I can take that as a breakout off the 5 minute. And then same thing up here off that 5 minute, this one that we marked right here at 32.25 above this topping tail right here. And on the 1 minute volume, that looks like we have an opening in volume. So depending on what the momentum is like and what time of day it is, you might be interested in attempting that as a breakout area. Okay, so you're looking for the big topping tails on the bigger charts, and then you can take the entry off of any chart. It won't matter which chart it is. Here's a bottoming tail here. This is a 1 minute though. I wouldn't count on the tails on the 1 minute so much, just because obviously it's a much smaller bar. So the only way that I would take it realistically off a 1 minute chart would be if I had many bottoming tails in that area, and then I had an opening in the volume nodes below. That would be the only way that I would take it off of a 1 minute chart. All right, you guys, I hope you find that helpful. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email. And I hope you have a fabulous day, you guys. Take care.